Hello everybody, my name is Bragster and welcome back to TEW 2020 where we are in charge of NXT. Today is the go home show before Takeover Boston. We've been building up to this since the beginning. Whew. It's been a long ride, hasn't it? So yeah, love it, absolutely love it. But yeah, I think we've got this. We've been building up to it for ages. You guys seem to be absolutely loving it, and I'm so happy with that. So yeah, I can't appreciate your support enough. But thank you. So yeah, as always, we'll go forwards. If anything happens, I'll show you. If anything doesn't happen, then I'll just show you the show, and we'll just get straight into it. Now, as suggested in the comments of the last video, I'll be changing this guy's name, Al Texano Jr. And I'll be just changing it to Juan Leos, which is just his real name and stuff. I'll be changing it to that as suggested. I quite like that because you can't have another Al with Al Legado del Fantasma, so it really does help, and I'm glad someone came up with a good name for him. But yeah, so we'll be changing his name to that. So yeah, would you like to create an alter ego? Yes, there we go. Juan Leos should be really good for us. He should. Okay, so we've extended the deal with Punishment Martinez, also known as Damien Priest, and then I'm pretty sure this is Aaliyah we've also extended the deal of. Cool. We don't have to do. It's great because I don't have to extend the deals. WWE do it for me, which is alright for the people that I want to keep, not okay for the people that I just don't care about. So yeah, thank God they're staying, as it's confirmed there. Them two are staying with us, so thank God for that, especially Damien Priest, because obviously we've got plans for him. He's the champion, so yeah, thank God for that. Oh, Hikaru Shida's contract's running out. I could take her. Is she currently view rivals off exclusively written? Why not? I'll accept these terms, but I have a better offer from another company. Do we really badly want Hikaru Shida though? How badly do we want Hikaru Shida? We could take their women's champion. Okay, so we've offered a contract to Hikaru Shida. We'll see what happens. I mean, she's good. She's got a bit of popularity to her, and yeah, she's a very good wrestler. If we look at her match history, you know, in those 50s, which is what we want, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm not gonna properly go for her like full on, but I want to bump AEW's, AEW up to get her, don't want them getting her on the cheap. So New Japan have had their G1 Climax, and yeah, 99, 94, 89, 93, 91, unbelievable stuff. 94 rated show, easily producing the best wrestling in the world right now, especially on this game. So yeah, bloody hell, look at that. Chris Jericho, Will Ospreay, 94. Chris Jericho was from 3, Will Ospreay with a 91. Unbelievable stuff. But okay, because it's the G1 Climax, obviously a few of them have had multiple matches throughout the night. So yeah, then have Jericho Jay White, you then have Kota Ibushi Kenta, which is just high based off, I think, more of the heat, and then them two at the end. Kota Ibushi winning the G1 Climax. Bloody hell. Look at that. Naito with a 100. Okada with a 93. Oh my god. I bet you they're exclusively written and stuff as well. Yeah, they're exclusively written. But just imagine if we could ever get one of them two, would be amazing. And then you've got Suzuki Tanahashi for the heavyweight title. Nuts. And that got an 89 as well. That's just insane. New Japan, absolutely insane. Right, so SummerSlam has happened and they got an 82 rated show. We'll just have a quick look at everything that happened because there was a lot to unpack. Keith Lee pre-show, Johnny Gargano pre-show. Jesus Christ, thanks guys, thanks for using my people really well. Shayna Baszler with a match, you know, that's new. Weird match there between people. Charlotte Flair defeating Sonya Deville. Rey Mysterio defeated Sami Zayn, Shorty G and Tommaso Ciampa for the United States Championship. Ciampa was the worst one in the match. The Usos defeating Miz and Morrison. Sasha Banks defeating Asuka and Alexa Bliss. What is this? John Cena and Goldberg defeated Andrade and Adam Cole. What? Bloody hell. This game sometimes. Otis defeated Seth Rollins. Otis with an 82. Rollins with an 89. Otis is ridiculously good for some reason. It's great. I love Otis. But he's really good on this one. Daniel Bryan defeating King Corbin in the cell. Braun defeated Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Braun got a 91. Bloody hell, Braun. That's incredible. And then Drew McIntyre defeated AJ Styles in the main event. Yeah, what a show that was. That was so weird. Okay, so Hikaru Shida signed with AEW. I had a feeling she would. I wasn't going to pay over the mills for her. I was hoping what they'd do is, you know, bid higher for her and put in a new offer. But it doesn't seem like they did. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like they did at all. Unfortunately, I thought they might do, but apparently not. So, I tried, I failed to bump them up. Right, so here it is. Here's the show. Really happy with this one. This one's come all together quite nicely, to be fair. I think I've set up a few things for next week's show as well, just to keep the ball rolling, basically. Otherwise, you could end up really not having anything to go for next week. But I have stuff to go by, so yeah, let's see what happens. See what this show's like. The go home show for NXT Takeover Boston. Let's get into it. So we start off the show with a really hot segment. I say really hot. It's 55 rated. Which is a contract signing. Kurt Angle comes out with Velveteen Dream and Dexter Lumis for the contract signing. Yeah, it's really good. Angle looked good, Lumis looked good, everyone looked good, got the show off to a good start. Yeah, it's basically Dream does all the talking and Angle, and Lumis just stares at Dream, signs the contract while staring at Dream. So yeah, really good. Bill just gained that little bit of heat just before the pay-per-view. Then we go into a triple threat match between Isaiah Swerve Scott, Tony Nese and Jack Gallagher, to which Tony Nese picks up the victory. His first ever victory since we started this. He was on a losing streak before we arrived. That's continued, and he stopped that losing streak by rolling up Jack Gallagher. So obviously they've probably done some like double team move, completely taking out Isaiah Swerve Scott, and then Tony Nese roll up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think it's the right decision by the looks of it. Jack Gallagher was the worst in terms of performance as well. So Scott and Nese seem to have pretty good in-ring performances. Jack Gallagher not so much, so to have him the one pinned. Yes, it's kind of stopped Scott's momentum a little bit, but I've got a plan of where I can go with Scott after this. And then Nese and Gallagher will probably almost turn into a rivalry from here between them two, a quick little one for the time being. So yeah, good match. Yeah, it's probably a little bit better than I expected actually, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Then we've got a 61 rated segment where Rhea Ripley says she deserved what came to her last week and is quite despondent about it. So yeah, it's just continuing her descent really at the moment. She's not doing so well. Then we've got a segment where Cameron Grimes crosses Drake Maverick in the corridor, and Drake Maverick stops him, stares him straight in the face and says, "I know Heath Slater wants you because of what you said, but I want you first." And that's setting up next week. So it's Maverick versus Grimes next week. Obviously Maverick's got a title match at the pay-per-view, so you know he's already thinking of Grimes before this, before that. So it's kind of like, will he be on his game for the pay-per-view? We won't know until we get to it. Then we've got a nice little segment. Well, I say nice little segment, it's not nice at all, it's just as nice as it can be between these two teams. So Malcolm Bivens boasts about his win. Lorcan and Birch come out mocking them for cheating and saying, you know, you're two big guys, you don't need to cheat, you know, if you really want to prove yourself, don't cheat against us next week. So that sets up a rematch between these two teams next week. Then we've got a nice match, to be fair, between Tegan Nox and Raquel Gonzalez. Tegan Nox picked up the victory against Raquel Gonzalez. So yeah, just progressing that rivalry. Tegan Nox picking up the win. Raquel Gonzalez getting better with her performance. So yeah, we're doing different matchups between these four people as it gets closer and closer to War Games, basically. So let's get into the next segment. So now it's Pete Dunne and Timothy Thatcher hype package, basically showing their history together in NXT UK on the Indies, also showing the history between Thatcher and Riddle. It's literally just working over everything. That match should be good at the pay-per-view. Then we've got Imperium come out demanding a match right now between Bobby Fish and Fabian Eichner to prove they are better and that last week was a fluke. So that match starts right now, which is a 55 rated match between Fabian Eichner and Bobby Fish, where Eichner picked up the victory against Bobby Fish. Yeah, 55 rated segment, again increasing the heat of this storyline. Mwah, lovely stuff. So this match could main event the pay-per-view, to be honest, if I really wanted to. But yeah, that's great. Then we've got Heath Slater's great without a microphone, brilliant. So Heath Slater is with Kathy Kelly, saying how happy he is to return, and that Grimes crossed the line by taking the mick out of people losing their jobs, because one day it could happen to him. So yeah, just building up that rivalry there. Then this was good. This was a lot better than I thought. So Candice LeRae comes out to reveal who she's picked. Shirai's in the ring and is waiting. Now naturally Shirai's expecting only one opponent. Candice LeRae laughs and goes, "Did you really think I was only going to give you one? I'm going to give you two." And that's Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. So yeah, hopefully this match does well. I haven't put it as part of the storyline, I don't think. Or should I have done that? I probably should put it as part of the storyline, actually. So then the match is 54 rated. Oh my god. Yep, Io Shirai's main eventing. Shirai is main eventing TakeOver. I'm telling you now, with a 70 rated, I forgot how good she is. She's main eventing TakeOver. So, didn't have much heat, terrible wrestling, 54 rated. But yeah, Io Shirai defeats Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir in a handicap match when Jessamine Duke intentionally got disqualified while fighting Io Shirai. So basically the count's still going and she's just punching Shirai in the face, and the referee has to call for the bell. I didn't want these two to lose, because it just, for me, I don't like it when a singles wrestler defeats two tag team wrestlers. So I thought the best idea was to have a DQ. and you'll see the reason why after this. So in the next segment, here we go. So Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir continue to beat down Shirai as Candice LeRae laughs, saying "see you at Takeover," as Shirai is left on a heap on the floor. So great stuff there, advancing the storyline, so it didn't lose heat, thank God. So yeah, I think that one might main event Takeover, to be honest with you. That will probably be the best match. Then we've got a nice little segment here where the Robert Stone brand are celebrating with Chelsea Green, and Green still seems uninterested and is like, I'm not part of you guys anymore, I'm not doing it. And Mercedes Martinez demands a match against Chelsea Green for next week, and Green just looks at Aaliyah and just taps on the back and goes, "You first." So yeah, it's kind of the tension between the Robert Stone brand and Chelsea Green really not wanting to get involved, but is quite happy to take advantage of them because of how much they want her to be as part of the Robert Stone brand. It means that Aaliyah's obviously going to go into a fight with Mercedes Martinez next week. So yeah, that's going to happen there. I think Martinez has only got like 2 more to go now, so it'll be the match against Aaliyah. It might actually, yeah, it might be 2 more. I'll see how long's left, but yeah, on a until she retires. But I think she's got 2 more NXTs left. The first one will be against Aaliyah. The next one will be against Chelsea Green, is my thinking, and that's how Mercedes Martinez can go. After this, we've got Santos Escobar, Drake Maverick and Jordan Devlin coming out. There's a standoff between the 3 of them, and an Angle comes out after Escobar mentions Mendoza and Wilde. Angle comes out and is like, oh, by the way, for your triple threat match, Mendoza and Wilde aren't allowed at ringside and aren't allowed to get involved in any way, otherwise you instantly are out the match, sort of thing, and disqualified and stuff, which would then cause Maverick and Devlin to have a one-on-one match, is the principle. So basically they're banned from ringside, they can't get involved, none of that can happen. So yeah, it's just tying up loose ends a little bit there to make sure, you know, that them 2 scoundrels don't get involved. Then we've got a terrible match. I thought this would be a lot better, but Killian Dane defeated Jake Atlas by stoppage when Jake Atlas was injured and could not continue. Jake Atlas took a stump bump during the match, which I thought would pick it up a bit more than it did, but it clearly didn't. Yeah, I wanted this one to be in the show. So basically, Killian Dane did this massive move, like probably a massive powerbomb or something, and Jake Atlas was just laid out. You know, he couldn't handle it anymore. The referee had to stop the match. You know, might have been outside the ring or something, just something to take out Atlas, which is a bit disappointing. Like, seeing how good Killian Dane is, a 56 rated performance, you know, it's a bit disappointing that the crowd just don't care about him. But the next segment picks it up as Atlas is carried out by the stretchers and stuff, and obviously Angle comes out, Matt Bloom and stuff come out, some recognisable faces. Killian Dane just looks over and Mansoor comes out, who's a friend of Jake Atlas's, and Mansoor just basically shouts at Dane, "I'm having you next week, I'm going to teach you a lesson." So setting up another match for next week, as well as advancing this little rivalry between Atlas and Killian Dane. Then we've got a segment where Willie Mack comes out, is backstage and sets up a 2 out of 3 falls match at the pay-per-view with Brian Kendrick to find out who is truly better than the other one. So these 2 have had some cracking matches so far, and I want them to have another one, and I thought, what a better way than to put it on the pay-per-view. If I don't have room on the pay-per-view, then it will be on next week's NXT, which would then be our main event. So it'll either be the main event of NXT next week, or it will be on the pay-per-view, depending on how much room I have on the pay-per-view. But I'll put pay-per-view here, just because I wrote it down, but that's my thinking. Then we have a segment between Kurt Angle and Triple H where they just talk about TakeOver, talk about a few different matches, and also talk about the announcement of the new general manager. And then the main event of the evening is Damian Priest and Jeff Cobb versus Bronson Reed and Akira Tozawa. So obviously they got to choose who was their partners. Damian Priest picked Jeff Cobb. Bronson Reed picked Akira Tozawa because Tozawa's very different to Reed and is a bit more athletic and is a good wrestler and established, so that's why he picked him. And obviously Jeff Cobb is the new beast of NXT, so he picked him. The gimmick change was very good. Bronson Reed was actually the weak link, but bear in mind that's a 57 rated segment, and Bronson Reed was the weak link with a 45 rated. Everyone else was high 50s, which is great to see in a tag team match. So yeah, so I reckon it'll be Cobb versus Tozawa on the pre-show of the pay-per-view. So it's a nice little pre-show match there, and it may be on NXT as well. We might put it on there, but it would definitely be on the pre-show. And obviously that North American title match should still be good. It won't be amazing, but it should still be decent. So we'll finish the show. 56 rated show, so one of our best shows recently. We lost popularity in 9 regions, but increased our popularity in 45 regions. I think that was one of our better shows. Obviously, we lost it a little bit here for whatever reason. But that end little segments picked it up, and that Killian Dane match just didn't seem to hit as well as it could do. But yeah, we set up the pay-per-view very, very nicely. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think the women's match is going to main event, especially. This is why I wanted to see put Io Shirai in a match. I'll skip forward while I'm talking. Put Io Shirai in a match. I wanted her to be in one just so I could see again and remind myself how good she is. And then as soon as seeing that 70 rated, bear in mind it was a short match, it didn't have much build, it had nothing, and she still got a 70 rated performance, and the match was still good. Says a lot about how good that match could be at the pay-per-view. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. And that tag match as well is going to start the show. Probably will be like a technical masters class, and it should be amazing. So what did Dynamite get? Dynamite got a 76. Kenny Omega and Rey Fenix in a 90 rated match. Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara in an 80. Brody Lee and Pentagon Jr. in a 70. That is ridiculous. They got a 1.24 TV rating. What was my TV rating? 1.47. I think they got more viewers though, didn't they? No, they didn't. So we got more viewers still. We also got a higher TV rating, so we're still maintaining good momentum. I'm pretty sure we should have beaten Dark this week. We definitely beaten Dark this week. So thank God for that. We needed that. What's thing here? Marcel Barthel needs to learn how to sell. Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Io Shirai. You're filling me with loads of confidence for that tag match. But no, it should be a good one. I reckon it'll be a very good show. So yeah, we're now ready for NXT Takeover Boston. Right, so talking of NXT Takeover Boston, I'm going to run you through the card now. Enjoy the fancy, well, I say fancy little graphics, just little graphics up near me. I don't know where they'll be and where I would be in editing this, but yeah. So I'm going to run you through the card, not in any order. I'm just going to run you through it as I know it. So we're going to have Velveteen Dream versus Dexter Lumis in an NXT title match. The first defense that Velveteen Dream is going to have to do, and the first shot at the NXT title for Dexter Lumis. Can Dexter Lumis knock Dream off his perch early on in his reign as NXT champion? We'll have to find out. It's going to be hard for him, but if anyone can do it straight away, it's the mysterious Dexter Lumis. In the next match, we've got Damian Priest versus Bronson Reed. Now, this is a very civil rivalry, I would say, between these two. They seem to have a lot of respect for each other, and that continued in the tag match. But neither one got the pin or even got pinned. So neither one look great or look weak in preparation for this show. So there's no real proper momentum behind either of these two. They're in a stalemate right now. Who will come out on top in Damian Priest's first defense of the title? We'll find out. Moving on to the tag titles, Undisputed Era versus Imperium. Now Imperium, it was meant to be Imperium versus Undisputed Era with Roderick Strong, but instead Imperium absolutely battered Strong, sending him to the hospital, meaning he's going to have to recover. He seems to be coming back. He seems to be looking good at the moment, but he's nowhere near ready to compete just yet. He'll be back soon, but it meant that Kyle O'Reilly had to return. He had to defend the Undisputed Era's honour moving into this pay-per-view. Can him and Bobby Fish find that glory again of capturing those tag titles, or will Imperium continue their dominant reign as tag champs that they started quite a while back now? That, you know, they've been running through everyone. So can they do it? We'll find out. Moving on to the women's match now, Io Shirai and Candice LeRae. A rivalry that started reasonably nicely, really. We needed a number one contender. Candice LeRae won the Battle Royal by eliminating Rhea Ripley last. And this rivalry between Io Shirai and LeRae, it was reasonably okay. You know, they were just, you know, promoing off, and that nothing really got violent until this week on NXT, where it started to get a bit personal. LeRae seemed to be very different since her husband's been called up to the main roster. LeRae's had that little bit of fire behind her. She's finally found that end product when in a match. You know, she was able to win the big one. Can she win the even bigger one of the NXT title, or will Shirai continue her reign after the multiple massive wins she's had recently over Charlotte Flair? We'll have to find that out. Moving on to the Cruiserweight title, Santos Escobar, Drake Maverick, Jordan Devlin. These three, in whatever way, swapping and changing, have all faced each other since we've took over NXT. They seem to always cross paths, and it's come to this. All three going for that NXT Cruiserweight title. All three deserving of that NXT Cruiserweight title. Which one of them will come out on top, we'll have to find out, but each one have momentum behind them. Drake Maverick has that fire, especially when he's crossed Grimes. He wants that win going into that match with Grimes next week. Jordan Devlin picking up a sneaky win against Drake Maverick recently, showing a bit of heel tendencies. He's only just recently turned face, so he's still got that heel tendency in his mind. And Santos Escobar, El Legado del Fantasma can't interfere. Raul Mendoza, Joaquin Wilde are out, so he's got to do it on his own. Is he able to do that, or does he need the boys with him to win the big one? We'll have to find out at NXT Takeover Boston. The grudge match, Pete Dunne, Timothy Thatcher in a cage match. These two, since the restart, have just gone at it, and it's come down to this. We're going back to where it all began. Timothy Thatcher was the one who sent Riddle away, beat him in a cage, in a fight pit. Pete Dunne wants to do the same to Thatcher. Who will come out on top? One of the most unpredictable matches at this pay-per-view is between Dunne and Thatcher. Will Dunne be able to get his vengeance, or will Thatcher continue his mean and dominant performances right now? We'll have to find out. And finally, on the main card, we're not 100% sure whether it will be on it or not, depending on time limits, but there's 2 out of 3 falls match between Willie Mack and the Brian Kendrick. These two have had some cracking matches recently, some cracking segments. They deserve a place on the card, and it's all dependent on time. But if they do get a place on the card, you just know these two are going to tear it down. This could be match of the night if it goes well, and they deserve a place on the card. So which one of these two will come out on top? Willie Mack has been on fire form, but recently lost to the Brian Kendrick after a low blow. It's going to be a big one, and how many falls will each person get, we'll have to find out. And finally, announced on after NXT on the pre-show for TakeOver will be Jeff Cobb versus Akira Tozawa. Tozawa's a bit annoyed that this new boy's come in. Jeff Cobb wants to keep his momentum behind him. Can he do that on the pre-show of the card? We'll have to find out. So yeah, that is everything on NXT Takeover Boston on this pay-per-view. It looks like an absolute stacked card, and I'm so happy with it. It's been all building up nicely. So many matches could be match of the night. And it'll be very interesting to see what you guys think will be match of the night as well. So put that down in the comments down below. Which one do you think will be match of the night? I've listed them all for you here with their nice little fancy graphics. Which one will be match of the night for you guys? Thank you for your continued support on this series. I hope this pay-per-view goes well, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So yeah, hit that like button if you like this video. Obviously, comment down below which one you think is going to be match of the night, and for you for the future of the series, if you got any plans you think for Jeff Cobb, or you know, for anyone else on the roster, tell me in the comments. I always look at them, I always reply to them. So yeah, it does help me out, and hopefully it just helps with your engagement with the series. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Really enjoying the series, and if you are too, subscribe. You won't miss an episode. So thank you guys for watching. I shall see you in the next video. See ya!